It would be tough to blame WWE stars who are put on the pre-show before a pay-per-view as seeing the perceived demotion as an excuse to take it easy. Some WWE stars, however, are put on the show before the show and see it as an opportunity to prove to fans and management that their match ought to have been included on the main card. Far from being inconsequential, these lauded kickoff showcases have, on occasion, walked away with Match of the Night honors. So let's hear it for the pre-show stealers. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 best WWE pay-per-view pre-show matches. Join us! Number 10, Sheamus vs Cesaro on the Summerslam 2016 kickoff. With nothing better for either man to do, WWE had Sheamus and Cesaro engage in a best-of-7 series during the fall of 2016. This included matches on Raw, a match on pay-per-view, and even a match on a non-televised house show. But it all kicked off, appropriately enough, on the SummerSlam 2016 kickoff show. The Celtic Warrior and Swiss Superman set the tone for what was to come with a hard-hitting contest that was the last of 3 matches to take place on the pre-show. Very much saving the best for last, the two bruisers were given plenty of time, 14 minutes and 10 seconds to be precise, with which to beat one another up. Just because this wasn't on the main pay-per-view portion of the card didn't mean Cesaro and Sheamus weren't going to go out and start their best-of-7 series with a bang, and they had plenty of big moves in there for near falls, including a rolling senton off the second rope by Sheamus. In the end, the Irishman sneaked in an eye poke that the ref didn't see, setting up a bro kick to finish a match that was better than much of what was on SummerSlam itself. Number 9, the 4-team elimination tag match on the WrestleMania 30 kickoff. The card for WrestleMania 30 was absolutely stacked, and there were many major happenings, such as the in-ring promo between The Rock, Steve Austin, and Hulk Hogan, Daniel Bryan's quest to become WWE Champion, and, oh yeah, Brock Lesnar beating The Undertaker to end the streak. With so much going on later in the night, the 4-team WWE Tag Title Elimination match was tasked with kicking things off in style, and boy did they accomplish that. The Usos were defending the straps against the Real Americans, Los Matadores, and Ryback in a match that was being shown on this newfangled thing called the WWE Network. It was fast-paced and energetic, with everyone bringing their best inside the Superdome and Cesaro standing out as the match's star. It was Cesaro and his partner Jack Swagger who appeared to have the momentum as the match chugged along at a great pace, with Swagger eliminating Los Matadores before Cesaro eliminated Ryback. However, they couldn't quite get the job done as Jimmy and Jay retained following some real American miscommunication that resulted in the post-match breakup of their team. Oh, and that paved the way for Cesaro to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal later in the night. Number 8, the 4-team WWE Tag Team title match on the WrestleMania 31 kickoff. It was deja vu all over again at WrestleMania 31 as WWE decided to book another 4-team match for the tag straps. Los Matadores were involved once more, as were the Usos, while Cesaro had upgraded Jack Swagger for Tyson Kidd and was walking in as one half of the tag champs. The role of Ryback, meanwhile, would be played by the New Day's Kofi Kingston and Big E. This one was first fall wins, not elimination rules, and was the first match of the night, being followed by the Andre Battle Royal before the main card started. With only 10 minutes to play with, it was a total spot fest, and unapologetically so, as they tried to cram in as much action to get the stadium crowd, who was still filling in as the match was in progress, hyped from the off. There were a lot of neat exchanges, clever spots, and big moves, with each team's respective seconds, Natalya, Naomi, Xavier Woods, and El Torito, also getting in on the act by interjecting themselves before Cesaro capitalized on Jay's big splash to ensure that his team retained their gold. Number 7, Mustafa Ali vs Cedric Alexander on the WrestleMania 34 kickoff. By the time WrestleMania next emanated from the Superdome, there were 3 matches on the kickoff show, not just one. Sandwiched between the annual Andre Battle Royal and the Women's Battle Royal was a clash between Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander for the vacant Cruiserweight strap. The title had been vacant since Enzo Amore's release that January, with Alexander and Ali getting to the showcase of the Immortals by advancing to the finals of a 16 16-man tournament. The tournament had taken place across various episodes of 205 Live, and while WWE may not have been too bothered about promoting the brand or the title, Alexander and Ali weren't about to pass up the opportunity to show a bigger audience what they were capable of, entering typically excellent performances and a high-flying back-and-forth bout that kept everyone guessing. Many watching believed Ali had the match won when he hits his breathtaking 054, only for Alexander to get his foot on the rope for a brilliant near fall. After surviving that, Alexander was able to rally and hit Ali with a lumbar check to take home the purple and silver. Not quite the same as take home the gold, is it? Anyway, great match regardless. Number 6, The Shield versus the Usos on the Money in the Bank 2013 kickoff. It's funny that not too many years after this, a tag team match between Shield members Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and the Usos would be considered a pay-per-view main event. But here at Money in the Bank 2013, it was deemed unworthy of the main card, even if the Shield's WWE tag team titles were on the line. It was all Jimmy and Jay in the early going as the Hounds of Justice struggled to get a foothold until the big dog turned the tide with a big clothesline. From there, the Shield isolated Jay and they worked some clever hope spots to build up anticipation for the hot tag to Jimmy. It really worked too, as the fans were electric when the hot tag came and Jimmy cleaned house with dives and power moves such as a pop-up Samoan drop. The volume got even louder when all 4 men performed an impressive Tower of Doom spot and they had everyone in the arena on their feet for a tremendous near fall following a super kick and top rope splash. It was not the Usos' night, however, as they fell to a buckle bomb and spear combo to end an outing as good as, if not better than, much of the pay-per-view itself. Number 5, Buddy Murphy versus Kalisto versus Akira Tazawa versus Hideo Atami on the Royal Rumble 2019 kickoff. Sometimes it really is as easy as throwing 4 ridiculously talented cruiserweights out there, giving them a decent amount of time to do their thing, and telling them, have at it. The Royal Rumble 2019 kickoff show featured 3 matches, beginning with a random tag that was quickly forgotten about, followed by a title change as Shinsuke Nakamura beats Rusev to become US champ. Each was fine, but the 4-way for the Cruiserweight title took things to another level as Murphy, Tazawa, Atami, and Kalisto put on a breathless display full of inventive spots, none more so than Tazawa's dive through Atami's legs as the former Kenta was stood on the middle rope onto Kalisto, who then used the momentum to Hurricane Rana Murphy onto the barricade. I mean, how do you even come up with something like that? It was hard to keep up with the non-stop action, which featured big moves, stiff strikes, and spectacular dives galore, and had Chase Field rocking for a thrilling closing stretch that ended with the champ somehow just managing to retain. Wasn't a place for it on the 5 goddamn hour main show, but it certainly made the 2 goddamn hour pre-show worth watching. Number 4, Neville versus Austin Aries on the WrestleMania 33 kickoff. Look, I know WrestleMania 33 was, 13 hours long altogether? And I know Austin Aries is a banana-loving lunatic who once gave Zelina Vega a promise ring, but this Cruiserweight title match was more than good enough to be on the main show. Alas, it was shoved onto the pre-show. Not only that, but it was also the first match of the entire night, the 205 Live boys being trusted to get fans excited from the get-go. The 2 well-travelled vets had the crowd with them and put on a great mat-based display early on before the intensity ramped up, including a snap German suplex that dropped a double right on his conspiracy-addled brain. There were counters and counters to counters as the vicious king of the cruiserweights weathered the storm and even kicked out of the 450 splash. Aries proved he was on the Neville level, but succumbed to a red arrow after the champ went after the challenger's eye. That part of the finish might have been a tad subtle for the stadium crowd, but this match was a banger, even if Austin Aries once gave Zelina Vega a promise ring. Number 3, Kalisto versus Ryback on the Number 3, Kalisto versus Ryback on the Payback 2016 kickoff. Styles make matches, and you couldn't have 2 styles as diametrically opposed as the ones favoured by Ryback and Kalisto, who clashed over the US title on the Payback 2016 kickoff. A classic David versus Goliath, power versus speed, mask versus bald encounter. This was such a pleasant surprise and really felt like both men were out to prove a point, hammered home with the big guy choosing to wear a belt with the phrase pre-show stopper on it. It went about how you would expect it to go, with the Rizbiz using using his strength and the luchador trying to counteract it with his lightning-quick aerial offense. And fair play to Ryback, who really did go out of his way to make the champ look good, not to mention save his ass on a dive in what turned out to be his last ever WWE match. The finish was awesome too, with Ryback hitting a monstrous middle rope gorilla press slam only to miss a top rope splash and get caught with the Salida del Sol. Honestly, watching this one back makes you almost pine for a Ryback return, doesn't it? But sadly, as we all know, that cannot happen due to his legally binding retirement. Number 2, the Usos versus The New Day on the SummerSlam 2017 kickoff. Who would have thought that giving two of the best teams in WWE history 20 minutes in a title match in front of a red-hot Barclays Center crowd would result in a match that just about nothing but the pay-per-view main event itself could hope to better? Xavier Woods and Big E defended their SmackDown tag straps against Jimmy and Jay in the third SummerSlam 2017 kickoff show match. Having to follow a strong Neville vs. Tazawa cruiserweight title clinic, the two teams were undaunted and decided to put in maximum effort in a seesaw battle that made its way onto various Match of the Year lists. They positively crammed the thing full of cool sequences and false finishes, with the second half of the match, after the Usos had isolated Woods for a heat segment, being balls to the wall insanity by two teams who knew each other very well indeed. Highlights included Woods taking an assisted pop-up Samoan drop over the top rope to the floor and an incredibly close near fall after a mega midnight hour. They ended things at the peak too, with the Usos hitting their stereo Superfly splashes onto Big E for the title change. Number 1, WLC on the Extreme Rules 2014 kickoff. Ordinarily, there is no way WWE would put a gimmick match like tables, ladders, and chairs on a pre-show. But when it came to the so-called WLC match between Hornswoggle and El Torito at Extreme Rules 2014, WWE evidently believed the match would be played for laughs and wouldn't be taken seriously enough to warrant inclusion on the pay-per-view proper. Well, the joke was well and truly on them, as the two pint-sized combatants, ably assisted by Los Matadores and the members of 3MB at ringside, put on a match that was unlike anything seen in a WWE ring before or since. With plenty of scaled-down plunder to play with, Hornswoggle and Torito put it all on the line, with Primo Epico, Jinder Mahal, Heath Slater, and Drew McIntyre joining in with some crazy bumps of their own. Seriously, there was some really strong stuff on the main show, but nothing was as fun and outright crazy as WLC, and the insanity ended when Torito put Hornswoggle through a table. According to Swoggle, everyone involved received a standing ovation when they got backstage, and they had certainly earned it by having the best pay-per-view pre-show match in WWE history.